you've read that title correctly. God, do I wish it was just clickbait, but no. In this story I will take you guys on a journey where the following will happen. You'll see me in my natural habitat.
Depression.
I fall off a cliff. We go on a family vacation. Some woman casually tells us about someone's death while being attacked by imaginary bees. And I get engaged, not necessarily in that order. As absolutely no one of you knows, my boyfriend and I have been together for 12 years.
12 years.
12 years? 12 years. We just can't seem to get rid of each other. So at that point in the relationship, marriage comes up frequently. But since we've been together since we were like 17, marriage wasn't the first thing on the list to worry about back then. Even though we were technically married before we even started dating, but that's a story for another time. But since we've been together for so long, no, not money. It means hubby in Dutch, alright? I know it's cringy, but that stupid nickname started ironically, but it's somehow stuck around, so that's what I'm gonna call him from now on, alright? Stop yelling at me! Since we've been together for quite some time, Money wanted no ordinary proposal. No. So when we were planning to go on a vacation with the whole family, he started planning. By whole family, I just mean my parents, my sister and her boyfriend. We don't really keep contact with grandparents and stuff because my father's side of the family is hella religious and my mother grew up in a literal cult. They fell in love Romeo and Juliet style. But that's also a story for another time. I love my parents to bits and they've been through a lot of shit throughout their lives and they're good boys. Money knew that I'd be delighted to have my family with us to celebrate if we would ever get engaged. So, when the vacation happened, he concocted his master plan involving every one of them. Of course, I will be oblivious about this throughout most of the story. What I did know, however, was before going on vacation, was that there was this really romantic little island called Anyhoww Island. That was a very beautiful engagement spot. So I dropped this once in a while, very casually in conversation. Very subtly, of course. Now, we've been on holidays before, where I thought he would pop the question, and it just never happened. So I really hoped he got my subtle hints this time. Flash forward, we're on vacation, it's like the third day there, and we're all just vibing. When suddenly Money is like, you wanna go on a date to Anyhoww Island today? Wink. And I'm like, it's happening! This isn't a drill, people, let's go! Ah! I put on my prettiest dress and highest heels because in my mind, the most adventurous thing we will be doing today is celebrating with cocktails on the beach.
Wrong.
We're off to Anyhoww Island. I'm so excited I start vibrating into the next dimension, and little did I know, Money had already set the whole plan in motion. The island is absolutely gorgeous, right? But there's also like 3 billion people there. And people were getting engaged left and right. Now, we're both terrible with crowds, but I decide to suck it up for now because I was going to be engaged today, damn it! So I'm trying to make the most of it and try to find out some pretty spots for us to chill. But every time we find a nice secluded spot, so do the 3 million people behind us. We did this a few times until we got sick of it and then we hightailed it back to the car. Back in the car, both absolutely exhausted, and I'm just mad how the public had the nerve to be in public today. But little did I know this was all according to Money's Kaikaku. In fact, he was never even planning to propose on Anyhoww Island in the first place. No, he was planning to go to a second, more secreter location. That being the #1 most touristy place of the whole island, Shipwreck Beach. But you see, a little before we went to Anyhoww Island, Money had sent my family to a very specific place near Shipwreck Beach for them to scout out to see if it was a spot I would like. So my family had been searching for this specific place while Money has kept me busy on the island. And on the way back to the hotel, he got a text message. They found the spot. Meanwhile, I was just recording a sad Backstreet Boys music video in my head because I thought I got my hopes up again for nothing. But then Money was like, well, that was a bit crowded. Why don't we go visit a more quieter place? Wink. And I didn't want to ruin the date by being a sad sock, so I went along with it. Anyway, the location my sister had sent him had completely bugged out, so we got sent to the middle of some roundabout that wasn't necessarily much quieter. And I noticed that he started to look really stressed. And he never is! He's like the most chill person on this planet. And this is when I started to get suspicious. We arrive at the overlook at Shipwreck Beach, and my mother is just chilling there in a cafe. She points us towards a hiking path away from the overlook because, again, there were like 3 billion people there and we wouldn't be able to see the shipwreck anyway. She told us to hurry up because the view from the vantage point of the hiking trail was much better than it was here, and my dad, sister and her boyfriend were already there. Little did I know they had been there for hours waiting for us while we got stuck on that roundabout. So we started the hike to that apparently most beautiful spot of the whole island, but there was only one problem. The path looked like this. And I was wearing these. Money sees my struggling and starts getting nervous again about the potential of me falling into the abyss right next to us. But I was like, nah, I'm pretty confident in heels, I'll manage. Suddenly, a random woman pops up from behind some bushes and she tries to stop us. She's like, that guy over there didn't jump, alright, it was a motorcycle accident. And we were like, okay. Well, I imagine just the coolest way to go, she continues her story by saying there's also a lot of bees there. You just shouldn't go over there, alright? It's too dangerous. Way too dangerous. There's just so many bees. And she just runs off into the sunset. I see my boyfriend sweating again and he sheepishly asks if I want to go back. But I'm still holding on to the slight chance a proposal might still happen. Like some cool dead guy and some bees are gonna stop me from that. Like anything is gonna stop me today. Cue me twisting my ankle on my very next step. I fall down like a sack of potatoes and start sliding down this cliff. This is it. I see my life flashing before my eyes. In my mind, I'm already shaking hands on the bottom of the cliff with that motorcycle guy who may or may not have died the coolest death. Luckily, this huge rock was there to break my fall, and my ankle, before I could plummet to my death. Money runs over and scoops me up and is like, alright, we're going back now. But I'm like, no, we've come this far, we can do this, alright? At this point, he probably knew that I knew, so he complied and supported me the rest of the way there. We get there, no dead guy or swarm of bees in sight, just a bench memorial for some guy who died like miles from here. And I guess there were like 2 bees just vibing on the placed flowers. My dad, my sister and her boyfriend were there and we quickly got pushed onto the vantage point. There were some people there when I saw the place in the distance, but suddenly everyone was gone. And I turn around and even my family is gone now too. Too tired to even think at this point, I sit down and enjoy the view with Money. At this point we couldn't help but laugh at what a mess this whole day has been. But then he faces me, sits down on one knee and grabs my hand. All the pain from today starts to fade away. He pulls out this little box with a beautiful ring and tells me the sweetest little speech he had prepared. At least I think he did. I was crying the whole time, I didn't hear a thing. He asks me the question, I said yes, of course. Can you imagine saying no at that point? We kiss and suddenly Money puts his thumb in the air and I hear my sister scream, "She said yes, people!" Followed by a cacophony of cheers. Turns out, my sister has been shooing people down this mountain for like hours now, because an engagement was gonna take place. And there were like a whole bunch of people who just stuck around waiting there because they wanted to see the proposal. I was so embarrassed I could die. They were watching us the whole time. The bee lady was there too, for some reason. I think she got too invested in my sister's plan and almost drove us away from her own proposal. So there you have it. I somehow managed to make it back to the cafe with my broken ankle and my torn up leg. Luckily my mother works in a hospital, so she knows how to handle this kind of situation. We get congratulated by every hiker who walks past us for the next hour, and we end the day by celebrating with cocktails on the beach. I will never forget this day for as long as I live. I was able to celebrate with my loved ones, got some cool battle scars in the process, and got engaged to the love of my life. Thanks for listening to my stupid stories. Until next time, pretty people. Okay, bye!